I call to order the regular meeting of the Carrabelle City Commission. Today is Thursday, October 2nd at 6 p.m., and we are in the Carrabelle City Hall chambers. Please stand for the prayer and Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, again we gathered at the City Hall to conduct the business and welfare of the city of Carrabelle. And we thank you for the many blessings and gifts that you give us daily. And we ask that you follow us and guide us with your wisdom as we endure and go through our business here tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone had a chance to go over the September 4th regular minutes, September 11th budget minutes, September 23rd final budget minutes, and the attorney's invoices?
Yes.
Yeah, I motion to approve the September 4th minutes, the September 11th and 23rd budget minutes, and the attorney invoices.
Okay.
Second that motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Pedrick, second by Commissioner Walden. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. We'll now move to public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. This is a time for comments on city business. Personal attacks, defamatory remarks, or slander will not be permitted. If comments go in that direction, I will step in and conclude the speaker's time. Thank you for helping us keep the meeting respectful and productive.
Well, this one I think is already on the agenda, so, Mr. Allen, you have an item. So I have Marion Morris with
Okay.
the Crooked River Lighthouse.
Good afternoon. Am I on?
Yep.
Okay, so I was on the agenda and we canceled it because I am here about the campsite, the possible campsite at the Crooked River Lighthouse Park. That would be a site that we would use to exchange services for a place to park their RV.
Miss Mary,
And-
will you take your hands off the mic? Yeah.
Okay. So we were calling that residential host, but that might be like a lot of state parks have and campgrounds have. That's a similar kind of thing where people do jobs in exchange for the site. And we would, looking to the future, appreciate that kind of cost savings. So we understand that you can't because of some county considerations. I scrambled to get together with the county planners. This week, they're all slammed with budget meetings. And what I want just to ask you, because we are also presenting a grant request, an infrastructure grant request to the TDC, the Tourist Development Council. And that's going to be a whole year cycle. So in appreciation of that, if I got a nod, a verbal vote for you, actually, a nod, so to speak, from you saying that you endorsed it, 2 ifs. 1 if, probably more than that. 1 if is that the county approves it and goes ahead. And the second, if you approve the language that we have for an agreement with a possible person. But somehow it's the situation, one has to approve it before the other. And we really somewhere need to say, if you're okay with it, you're the landowners. And I think that's a big part of it. And if you endorse it, the county is much more likely to endorse it. And we're willing to go through those steps and to make you happy with any kind of language and the position. I've had Charlie out there again. We found a spot that I don't think interferes with the historical look of it. And it's not that expensive, especially if it's a grant paid for thing. So if I got from you an approval, a tentative approval for those 2 big ifs, then we could go forward with this grant request, which I'm going to turn in tomorrow. So thank you for considering that.
let me ask you some questions. So you want to go ahead and I understand the TDC grant process, and it's for the whole year, but you need to request the money now, is from what I understand.
Correct.
So you're asking for us to give you a tentative okay to do the research and approach the county to see if they would approve a campsite because it is in the county, it's not in the
Exactly.
city. So is that all you're asking for? Not
Yes. And the
Yes, go
second,
ahead
if
with it, but-
I want to be sure that you're okay with everything in the process. And Mr. Pedrick and I had talked about language, that we would not have people there who were not doing what they agreed to do. You know, that's always a possibility. And we're not even sure at this point if it's something that we might use for an occasional person there, somebody who's working on the light, or somebody who is a temporary person. And you, as we all know, the expensive housing. So that's it, the two ifs. If you will give us permission to go ahead with that, I think we can go ahead with the grant request. So thank you for considering it. Any more questions?
I'm not sure, maybe.
Okay,
May I?
Yes.
So I know we approached this a couple months ago.
Right.
And I think when we left it out was for y'all to go back and kind of give us a proposal with some of the things that we asked for and kind of submit it and let us review it. I think I'm perfectly okay with saying yes to the process, but knowing that if it's not done the way we agree on and we don't get that proposal and all that, that it's not going to happen.
I certainly agree with that. I just didn't want to spend a lot of time on this, something that may not happen. So it's, you know, using your time, and we're really busy. There are not enough warm bodies. So thank you for considering it.
Madam Mayor, Mr. Large brought to my attention the need to potentially read another resolution regarding a grant application that would be 11-2025. Would it be possible to amend the agenda to include that resolution?
Do we need a motion to amend the agenda for that?
Yes, and it would be for a state revolving loan application for them to submit one for well number 5 Omnisorb filter media.
The Omnisorb?
Yes. And I can read it with the others.
Okay.
I forgot to say thank you. The lighthouse has been painted, the lighthouse keeper's house. It looks wonderful. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I wish I had pictures to show you, but we will get there.
So for Ms. Morris and the Lighthouse Association to continue their research on this, do we need a motion, or can we just, what do you think would be the best course of action?
I think, unless anybody objects, she can do her research and bring it back to the commission.
Okay.
But
we
I
don't-
think what
Because
she's
it's
wa-
not like an official decision, we're just looking into things at this point, correct?
Right.
Okay.
I think what she's looking for, if I hear it right, is kind of a yes or no that we will entertain it. So
Right.
she can tell the county that, so she can go to the county and ask them.
And I have no problem with
That's
it. I would
correct,
like more
exactly.
information on it as well. Does anyone oppose that?
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
So that's good enough. We're good with that?
Get your ducks in a row and let us know what the
Well,
next
you
step
know,
is.
after this grant goes in, we'll have a little bit of time to get our breath and do it
Exactly.
properly.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have anyone else, Ms. Keisha?
No, that's all.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna make a motion to amend the agenda as requested by the attorney and
That's right.
engineer.
I'll second.
okay, amend. Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Millender to amend the agenda to include the 11-2025 resolution. Do we have any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and that motion carries. Oops, sorry. Okay, next is Commissioner reports. Commissioner Pedrick,
I have none at this time, ma'am.
Commissioner Walden,
I have nothing tonight.
Commissioner Millender,
No, ma'am.
and Commissioner Gray.
Nothing at this time, ma'am.
Okay, you saved it all for me. All right, first and foremost, I would like to thank our city staff and department heads for their dedication and commitment during this year's budget season. Creating budgets is a demanding process on its own, yet our staff managed to complete this important work while continuing to perform their regular day-to-day responsibilities. Their hard work, diligence, and attention to detail do not go unnoticed. I'm deeply appreciative of the time and effort they have put in to ensure that our city continues to operate smoothly and responsibly. Carrabelle is fortunate to have such a dedicated team working on behalf of our residents, businesses, and visitors. Thank you all. Last month, the TDC meeting, it was announced that the Florida statute defining what could be funded through the TDC has been updated, allowing a broader scope for funding tourism-related projects in our area. The city has submitted a letter of intent for 2 projects that were previously not eligible. One for improvements to the historic water plant building to convert it into a functional community center, along with the construction of a supporting parking lot. Also, for upgrading Patton Park to provide additional recreation activities and amenities that will expand opportunities for outdoor enjoyment. Both initiatives align with the goals of promoting tourism and enhancing public spaces within the county. This will be on the next TDC agenda for their consideration. Downtown Carrabelle is brewing up something special this October. Join us for Halloween-themed First Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. tomorrow night, full of festive fun, live music, shopping, and seasonal treats. Stroll through downtown, enjoy great food and entertainment, and celebrate the spirit of fall with your community. And that brings us to staff reports, and first up is our city attorney.
I have none tonight.
Okay, and our city administrator is out, but did you have anything for her, Keisha?
Yes.
Okay.
I had it pulled up, but then I just clicked away.
I don't know how that is.
So we need to schedule a special meeting for a public hearing for the rate increase on the water side. We have tentatively scheduled that for October the 14th
Right.
at 5 o'clock.
Do you need a motion to ratify that?
Yes, I do.
Study
I'm good on the 14th.
14 at 5 p.m. Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll motion to hold a special meeting on the 14th for the rates.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Pedrick, second by Commissioner Walden. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries.
Okay, and that got added to the. Oh, and we will also, the lobbyist bids, the committee met, and so we will be adding that to the agenda as well for that special meeting. So there'll be 2 items, and possibly a third. Charlie is wanting to hire somebody to replace an employee, so he's trying to do interviews for the next 2 weeks to possibly get that on the agenda as well, so
Okay.
we'll have 3 items. We got other than that, I believe that was all for that. Our next CRA meeting will be the 21st at 3:30. Our P&Z meeting will be the 16th at 2 o'clock. I don't have anything for that as of yet, but just tentatively. We are not closed for Columbus Day. We will be open. And our next regular scheduled meeting will be November 6th at 6 o'clock.
All right, anything else for you or city admin info?
No.
Okay. And next is Mr. Russell Large with the Novia.
All right, thank you. For our Lanark Sewer Rehabilitation Project, next week they'll begin to do the manhole rehabilitation. Also, the vacuum sewer for those 6 houses on Newman, we're finalizing design there, having that reviewed by AirVac, and so that'll be the next change order forthcoming on that project. On the cemetery project, we have developed a grading plan and a gravel road detail. So we'll be going out and asking for some price quotes to do that construction. We've addressed the water and sewer utility rates. Baywood, DOT is preparing that agreement, and they say that will be submitted back to the city by the 17th of October. All right, so we do have some grant applications. I won't cover all these. They should be in your report. The most immediate one being the SRF drinking water, for which you'll be hearing a authorizing resolution tonight. We've got several others on the list. I won't read those off, but feel free to ask any questions from the list there on the report. We have one upcoming funding application. That's for the Avenue C overflow boat parking. That cycle with FWC opens January 1st, and we've also been in discussions with the TDC for possible funding there, and have submitted a notice of intent to request funding. All right, I did just want to give you a quick update, and maybe I'll ask Travis to just give you a quick update on the 12th Street culvert and the progress there.
I spoke to the contractor earlier today. They're going to be back Monday. They're going to wrap that up down here and then move their stuff around and finish up over here by Weems, by the cemetery, and start working on the other one that they're doing. So they'll
That's
have all
for
of
the
those
culverts?
underway by next week. Yeah.
Perfect.
So
And they've been directed to install detours for that.
yeah,
for that
they're
work.
supposed to put up detour signs on each side of it.
Thank you.
Perfect.
I got a quick question, if you don't mind. When are they gonna start the paving projects? I know that's CRA, but
Oh,
just,
good. Thank you.
that's a heck of a bump they left over there.
Yeah, the Robertson Roberts, I talked to them today as well. Robertson Roberts will be here on the 17th, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow, and they claim they can mill it, pave it in a day, all of it. I want to see that, but they said they can do it.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Anything
That's all.
else?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We'll move on to our advisory boards. And I believe Ms. Tamara's here with the Waterfront Partnership.
Thank you. Okay, let's see where I am. Maybe that'll work. My problem is my little speaker's out here on the front of the chair, so that doesn't look like a good spot. But anyway, I will go right on. So I wanted to tell you all that we had a very successful cleanup of the this year's International Coastal Cleanup. Was it was remarkable in that we got twice as many people as usual came back. They had drifted away, but they came back this time, and we pulled together about a ton of stuff. And mostly, it seemed to us like it was furniture and mattresses and strange things like that. A lot of campaign signs and the framework for some of those, but just the same kind of garbage that we find along the waterway everywhere, every time. beer cans, styrofoam food boxes, baby diapers,
Oh, goodness.
household garbage. The one we liked the best was the car in the water where they put the mattress on top of it to cover it up. It was my favorite part.
Wow.
But we did, we appreciated the two commissioners who came out and actually picked up trash, Commissioner Millender and Commissioner Pedrick. And so they were part of that 25 people that came and signed up that day. So it's about 1,000 pounds of stuff got moved out of here. It's amazing how it fills up everywhere. The other thing we had on that same day, the 20th of September, we had was designated as Museum Day. So all of the 3 museums in town have worked together for years to have a special day. Ours particularly was that they were called Signals and Stories across time. So each of the museums had a theme, and at our place we had some really interesting little flags and different places in the museum, and a bingo game so that you could go through and read stuff and fill it out. It was very successful, and I give a lot of credit to the volunteers at the museum for doing a great job. And as I say, kids of all ages enjoyed it. It wasn't just for grown-ups. The History Museum completed the TDC infrastructure grant for $12,675 that we used to spruce up the front of the building and get the upstairs lighting tuned up so you could actually see, and cleaned off the front, painted it, had a new sign installed, and trimmed up a branch that was about to hold the elevator downstairs. So we were very tickled that we were able to do that and get all those things accomplished, and the city's been very kind to advance us funds on those things, so we will give it right back to you as soon as we get the check. So it should be imminent. And this is the month where we count this quarter's attendance. And for the months of July, August, and September, our total visitors were 586 that signed into the book. We have other visitors, but don't manage to get that. And then we had volunteer hours, 579. So it's, I went back and looked at last year for this quarter, and we were two numbers off. Like this year, we had 2 more visitors in that 3 months than we had last year. So it's just typical for the all-time worst part of the year for visitors. And so, but you know, it's not declining. It's just normal. But it's reflected in all the other tourism numbers in the county. Mm-hmm. And our next meeting is going to be Wednesday, October the 15th, and it'll be a Zoom meeting, so anybody that wants to come can let me know, and I can give you the call-in number. Otherwise, I don't think I had anything else to report.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Turner.
Okay.
All right. Next is our public hearing. Are we going to do all 3 of these at the same time, or do you need to read any?
I will read them, I need to read them individually.
Okay.
So I'll read them quick. So starting with Resolution 9-2025, and it's a resolution authorizing the submission of an application for the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program, FERDAP, to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for fiscal year 2026-2027. Whereas the City of Carrabelle desires to submit an application to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for a Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program grant to benefit the local residents. Whereas there is a present growing need for outdoor recreation opportunities among persons of all ages within the City of Carrabelle, Florida, corporate limits, and among those visiting the area. And whereas the city recognizes this need for additional recreational opportunities, and whereas meeting the increasing demand for recreation opportunities can be best met with the development of Patton Park Phase 2 as detailed in the application for funding, in which the city is submitting an application in the September 30, 2025 application cycle requesting $200,000 in grant funds. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Carrabelle as follows. Number one, that the City of Carrabelle hereby authorizes the filing of an application for a Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program grant, and that number two, that the mayor of the City of Carrabelle is hereby authorized to execute all documents required in connection with the filing of said application to be submitted on September 30, 2025. Number three, that as part of the application for the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program FERDAP grant, the capital improvements element of the comprehensive plan of the City of Carrabelle, Florida, will be amended to include the development of the Patton Park Phase 2 in the City of Carrabelle if the project is funded in the 2026-2027 FERDAP application cycle. Adopted by the City Commission of the City of Carrabelle, Florida on this day. So a vote on that.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution 09-2025?
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 09-2025.
I'll second.
Okay, that's a motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Pedrick. Is there any discussion? All of those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries.
All right, the next one is Resolution 10-2025, and this is a resolution authorizing the submission of an application for the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program, FERDAP, to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for federal fiscal year 2026-2027. And it's whereas the City of Carrabelle desires to submit an application to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection for a Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program grant to benefit the local residents. Whereas there is a present growing need for outdoor recreation opportunities among persons of all ages within the City of Carrabelle, Florida corporate limits, and among those visiting the area, whereas the city recognizes this need for additional recreational opportunities, and whereas meeting the increasing demand for recreation opportunities can be best met with the development of the Crooked River Lighthouse Park Phase 2, as detailed in the application for funding, in which the city is submitting an application in the September 30, 2025 application cycle requesting $200,000 in grant funds. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Carrabelle as follows. Number one, that the City of Carrabelle hereby authorizes the filing of an application for a Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program grant. And number two, that the mayor of the City of Carrabelle is hereby authorized to execute all documents required in connection with the filing of said application to be submitted on September 30, 2025. Number three, that as part of the application for the Florida Recreation Development Assistance Program FERDAP grant, that the capital improvements element of the comprehensive plan of the City of Carrabelle, Florida, will be amended to include the development of the Crooked River Lighthouse Park Phase 2 in the City of Carrabelle if the project is funded in the 2026-2027 FERDAP application cycle, adopted by the City Commission of the City of Carrabelle on this date.
I'll motion to approve Resolution 10-2025.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll make the second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Pedrick, second by Commissioner Gray. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries.
All right, and the last resolution is Resolution 11-2025, and this is a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Carrabelle for the purpose of application for state revolving loan funding for the new well number 5 in Omnisorb filter media, providing for a pledge of the net revenue of the combined city water and sewer system to secure payment of all amounts due and owing under the terms of the state loan agreement, authorizing the city administrator to execute any and all applications or other loan documentation on behalf of the city in connection with this loan, providing for an effective date. Whereas the City of Carrabelle is empowered to borrow money and contract loans as from time to time to finance undertaking of any capital improvement for the purposes permitted by the state constitution, and may pledge funds, credit, and property of the municipality for the payment of such debts pursuant to Section 166.111 Florida statutes. Whereas the City of Carrabelle desires to submit an application to the Florida Department of Environmental Protection State Revolving Loan Program for the purpose of funding new well number 5 and Omnisorb filter media. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Commission of the City of Carrabelle, Florida, that number one, that the City of Carrabelle hereby pledges the combined revenue of its water and sewer utility system to the repayment of the loan in connection with this project. Number two, that the City of Carrabelle hereby authorizes and designates Courtney Dempsey, City Administrator, as the person authorized to file the loan application, provide associated assurances, execute the loan agreement, and represent the city in carrying out their responsibilities, including that of requesting loan disbursements under the loan agreement, And number 3, this resolution shall take effect upon adoption by the City Commission and signature by the mayor.
Motion to approve Resolution 10, 2025.
11. It's 11.
11.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to approve Resolution 11-2025 by Commissioner Millender, second by Commissioner Pedrick. Is there any discussion? All of those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Okay, new business. Item number 1, appoint a representative to Franklin County Development Council. Franklin County, it should be Economic Development Council. And we spoke briefly about this last month, that the Franklin County Board of County Commissioners has decided to create an Economic Development Council. They requested that the city appoint someone, and the person who we've been in talks with is Ms. Paige Joseph. She is a lifelong Franklin County resident who's a realtor, if not one of the best realtors in our county, and she lives locally here in Carrabelle. I did speak with her via email and gave her information about the EDC from what I gathered from Mr. Ricky Jones, and she's more than happy to represent us on the EDC. So we would just need a motion to have her as our appointment for that board. Or if you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer them.
I'll make a motion to appoint Paige Joseph to the Franklin,
I'll second the motion.
whatever.
The EDC.
EDC, yep. It's not wrote down here like the EDC, so
Yeah.
it's like, yeah,
We missed the one word in that, but you get it. Okay.
yep.
So we have a motion to appoint Ms. Paige Joseph to the Franklin County EDC made by Commissioner Pedrick and seconded by Commissioner Walden. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
And that motion carries. And I'll shoot her an email to let her know. Okay, item number 2. Discussion and possible action concerning the speed limit on Marine Street, and that was requested by Mr. Alan Sanders. And if you'd like to come up and give us some information on your concerns.
Hello, everybody. My name's Alan Sanders. I've been here about 8 years, and y'all can all relate to this. I got me a small little dog, and he's got energy. He takes me for a jog every day. Well, when we started, we picked a place. We got 4 or 5 places we like to take him for a walk. But one of them is right there at the river, where you launch your boat and all that. And the more we started paying attention to it, is that I noticed that the speed limit in there is 35 miles an hour. And I understand that whenever you're entering off of Gulf, you know, they got like 3 names on that road. And I can kind of see the 35 miles an hour, but once when you get in there and it makes a hard turn where you launch the boat, and that's where you get the launching the boat and all of your shopping. I mean, it's all packed in there, and it's still 35 miles an hour. And it's just one of those things, in my opinion, I think that the speed needs to be decreased once when you enter into the launching the boat area, going into the shopping area, because it's just 35 miles an hour, just way too fast. Because I've been through there before, because you know the time of year, whenever it's fishing time for everybody, you will have 100 boats and trailers out there fishing. And it is so packed, 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 packed. You have children coming out the boat, the family, you know. Everybody's out there trying to enjoy it. And you can legally drive through there at 35 miles an hour. I just think it's way too fast. In my opinion, I think that once when you enter into the boat ramp, coming from the Gulf area, I've talked to a lot of people that live in that area too. And 100% of the people I've talked to, they absolutely agree that they go way too fast, and they're not breaking the law. 35 is what they're doing, most of them. And I've talked to a lot of people, and they all agree that they would like to go at least 20 miles an hour when you're entering that area, if not even lower than that. I've just talked to quite a few people, and it's one of my concerns about the speed going through there, especially how fast it gets and how packed it gets. You know, with the holidays and all, you get a lot of people in there. I just wanted to bring it to somebody's attention.
Thank you. Do any commissioners have any comments or questions regarding this?
I agree with Mr. Sanders. I'm personally, don't go over 15 going down through there. I'm scared of anyone coming out from behind the car. It's a packed, congested area. So I agree with the man.
Having lived on that street and having had my business on that street, I agree as well. And I've been terrified watching children and people shopping and just walking around and enjoying downtown almost get run over nearly daily. It is tough to watch.
So, I agree, but I think that we should extend that down Gulf Avenue, because we'll have the same issue there. So if we're gonna do it to the boat ramp, might as well extend it
Well,
on down
that-
Gulf Avenue.
Yeah.
Has proven to be an issue because of who owns that road.
We own it to a certain point. I mean, if you wanna
Yeah.
get technical and talk about Marine Street, it's actually County Road 67, so are we gonna split hairs?
That's a Dan question.
Sorry.
We are splitting hairs, and that is, we've gone around and around with the county on, say, County Road 38. Where
Right.
does it start, where does it end, and is it even, whose responsibility? I would, I'll follow your all's lead, like I'll do obviously what's necessary, but I would, from a legal perspective, recommend avoiding 38 proper. So
Around the curve.
Around the curve, yeah. I would keep it, I would keep this discussion to.
The main downtown.
Yeah, really, I'm trying to think where, like.
Maybe the Y?
I'm fixated, at least the Y.
Like the culverts back to, was it like Fifth there, down to the boat ramp type thing?
Mm-hmm.
Third
Yeah.
Street is the first street past the condos.
Yeah, that would be even real safe, it's Third Street,
Yeah, I think
wrapping
it's
around.
Marina, right there where the boat ramp starts. And I even talked to the people there are companies there that try to sell stuff. And they've actually made a comment that they've actually lost some business there because people were complaining about the parking area that was unsafe. Yeah.
We're thinking 3rd Street, 98.
Yes.
I agree.
Do we need a motion to do that?
Can't hurt.
We'd need a motion. for
Let's
something.
make a motion to reduce the speed limit from 3rd Street to 98 on Marine Street from 35 to 20. Yep.
I would shoot for 15 if you could, 'cause I've talked to a lot of people. And just do me a favor before you decide, please. Get in your car and drive through there just one time and pay attention to the mileage. I'm telling you, 15 would be the maximum I would go with. You don't know until you actually drive yourself and pay attention. I think 15 would be the maximum. If it was me, it'd be 10, but I think 15 would be the maximum. 20,
Russell, but because we've dealt with
Mr.
some of
Russell.
this, it's a statutory issue.
but especially when you launch your boat, I'm telling you, just drive through there one time, 20 miles an hour, and picture 100 boats launching.
we
with all
have.
their children and all. It's just-
Don't have
20 is too fast.
Mr. Russell?
Yeah, I do think that 15 is more appropriate. That's a more typical posted speed that you see versus 20. Yeah,
215?
I think
25 or 15.
25 or 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
So would you
I
like
have
to
no-
clarify your motion?
Yeah, I have no problem with amending the motion to drop it to 15.
Okay, so that is a motion by Commissioner Pedrick to lower the speed limit on Marine Street from 3rd Street to 98 to 15 miles per hour. Did you get all that, Ms. Keisha?
Yes.
Okay. All right, do we have a second?
I second this motion.
Okay, the motion by Commissioner Pedrick, second by Commissioner Gray. Is there any further discussion? All of those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do I need to stay for the rest?
It's
I
up to
appreciate
you.
it. I'm gonna check on my dog.
Okay.
Thank you, y'all.
All right, item number 3. Discussion and possible action concerning property at Riverview Drive and Marvin Drive requested by Michael McGuire.
Lightning's it on?
Yes, and you can adjust it up.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity
for me to come to speak to you guys. I'm nervous.
We don't bite.
I know. So, what we're looking at is everybody, well, I call it the Carrabelle boat ramp, and everybody I talked to, Keisha and Courtney and Chief Robbie and everybody else that I went, you know, it's not a boat ramp. So I guess my first question to the city is to define it. And when I mean define it, I've been told it's easement, I told it's an alleyway, I told it's public access, I told it's right of way. I've been given 4 different answers, but it's not a boat ramp. So if it's not a boat ramp, the little strip of land there, what is the city code that relates to that, and what is it? You know?
Mr. Hartman, are you familiar with this piece of property?
I am. So it's been described to me as it's a street end, so it is a right-of-way that just terminates into the river. And what I'm told is, obviously, Mr. McGuire lives there, but so I don't want to talk out of school as far as what's going on, but it appears that people are launching whatever they can, you know, as far as launching into the river at that location. There's nothing that I'm aware of in the law that would prohibit that. It's the use of a street end like you would have out on St. George Island or out on Arnold 30A, where you have people launching off street ends. If there's a dangerous condition, we'd want to look into that. If they are, and I know I'm just talking, but if people are putting, you know, garbage on private property, or as far as just littering and that sort of thing, then yeah, we need to keep an eye on it and take care of it and everything. But people using it is not an issue as far as the city goes. We have other streets that terminate in the water. Sometimes put like actually put a boat ramp in and a little dock, like we have at Fourth.
Mm-hmm.
At
Some
Fourth.
people use it to go mullet fishing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. So, yep.
Definition is street end?
Yeah, it's just a
Right-of-way?
right of way. So it is a public access right of way. It's just like any other street in the city. That one just terminates in the water.
There's several down Gulf Avenue that it's the same way. It's the end of a street and it just ends at the water. They're all over St. George Island. That's the public's access to
Yeah.
get to the beach.
Oh, yeah, totally understand. So it's a street right away. Are you gonna define it as public access? or
Yeah, it's a
street?
public right of way.
Public right away.
Yep.
Did you get a copy of what I gave and
I sent that out.
Yes.
so he?
I sent it out to
Okay, I just
everybody.
wanted to make sure he had all the notes, and I just shortened them up here for my own self. But, okay, so it's a street end, public
It's a public right of way. So
right
it's
away.
it's
I gotta
it's
write that
yeah.
down.
No, it's yep. No, it's all good. It's just just like any other street in the city. That one just happens to dead end into the
Run
water.
off in the water. All right, so the second thing I would say, you know, a little different, paper is one thing, but if you read my report, you can see that people are driving on them, burying their trucks, digging them in, and tearing my property up and everything else, right? I mean, you've seen that in the
Yeah.
report.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
No, they are trespassing if they're on your property.
Okay.
Yep.
So Chief Robbie's been very good so far with everything that I put 7 game cameras down there pointing every different direction I can get to take pictures of trespassers, trucks, everything, you know, that comes down there. So I give all them Chief Robbie, thank you Chief Robbie and the police department, which done a great job so far of what they can identify. Issue the no trespassing, because I'd asked for some restraining orders, that's beside the point. Issue the no trespassing orders, and a couple of them came through, and some of them got 56 days in jail for doing that, along with other things they got them on. So I think some of the people around the area are getting the point, but there's still activity, which I got new chips coming out with more, so.
If you don't mind, I did speak with our city administrator this week and Chief Robbie, and I understand you don't have a fence around your property, which is fine, but we did talk about putting in posts with a rope or a chain similar to what we have at McKissick Beach, which separates the private property from the public parking so that the public aren't pulling up on private property to go to the beach access, which is very similar to this. And I think that could be a good compromise for separating our private property from our public property from your private property.
Okay.
I'd like to add to that.
Okay.
Me and Mr. McGuire spoke earlier this week, and we were talking about going together on this option and maybe splitting the difference between him and the city to take care of this problem, to run the 4x4s with a cable down our property line.
Okay.
And are you
Even
still
better.
in agreement with helping us, helping
It's
you?
a good neighbor policy. We had discussed, you know, I mean, me and Mr. Milliner lived next door to you, and we had a picket fence, and the hurricane blew it
Right.
down. You know, good neighbor policy. He'd pay 50%, I pay 50%, put the fence back up. So that's what I talked to Mr. Gray about. And, you know, we can buy, I don't know how long it is, 15 4x4s, which are about $10 a piece. Well, you can't quote that these days. About $10 a piece, and the cable to string through it, and he had offered that the city employees would come dig the holes and put it in. So if we buy 10, 15 poles and some cable, and it was $500, I'd pay $250, you pay $250.
That's,
I'd write a check
That's
to the
more than
city for
fair.
$250.
yes, I think that's
know.
more than fair. Do we need a motion for that, or is that just,
You could make a motion to direct the city administrator to take care of it,
okay,
to
so.
work with Mr. McGuire and get it taken care of. Has there, and I won't package it, but there is, we know where that property line is, survey.
Yeah, but it's gonna have to happen the opposite way. We would have to reimburse him. We can't take the donations
You're right.
to the city. So we would have to reimburse Mr. McGuire if that's how we're gonna do the situation.
Would that work for you?
Yeah, I mean, okay, if it, I'm just being dumb, it was $500, and you just send me, or,
Do you have a recent survey?
I'd have to go look.
We'll figure that out.
But you can kind of see the trail right there.
Well,
would need it
we need to
marked.
be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get Thurman to mark it, the survey.
Okay, so would someone please entertain a motion to instruct our city administrator to get with Mr. McGuire regarding putting in a post and cable fence line between our properties?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Okay, that motion's by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Pedrick. Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
I'm gonna be the negative one, and I don't mean to be negative, but I try to think realistically. I'm afraid we opening a can of worms here. There's gonna be a lot of folks come to us and start asking for the city of Carrabelle to help split 50-50 on their fence and the city right-of-way. I'm afraid we opening a can of worms. I looked at the property today, and I looked at the city right-of-way today. Now, the neighbor to the north side of the right-of-way that goes to the water, that property owner has already put up their own fence to keep people off of their private property.
That was done when the original builder put that in there.
But they've done it, not the city.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to picking you out by any means and being negative, but I'm just afraid we opening up a can of worms.
So then.
And I'm gonna have to vote against it, I'm sorry, but, I wanna be positive. And I do understand your concern with, your private property being intruded upon. And I was listening to you real close, and I liked what you were saying where you had spoke with the chief already, and I'm sure he's giving you information about how you post your property and keep people from legally to
Yeah,
keep
well, I
people
had
from
the
trespassing
ordinance.
and those kind of things. But, folks, I'm afraid we setting a bad precedence on the fence by, participating with public funds, because we're gonna get an influx of it.
I'll
So-
have to agree with Mr. Miller on this. Won't we just put a fence up on city property and let him worry about his, we'll fence ours off? I don't like to
No, it's,
give him sharing it.
You can have the survey
It's either
done
his
and-
property or ours. He can fence his or we'll fence ours.
Well, we're not trying to fence and block off our whole property. We're just trying to,
want to keep him off his property.
right.
Yeah.
Well, the concept is here, in my opinion, it's the landowner's responsibility to keep people off of their property. It's, the five of us sitting here, if we have private property and, people are intruding upon our property, it's our responsibility to take whatever actions necessary to prevent that. And that's just the way I see it.
Or it's trespassing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a law enforcement deal.
Can I ask Mr. Robbie a question?
Sure.
How much time has you spent with this over the last few months?
Altogether, probably, I'd say 8 hours.
So of them 8 hours, how many officers you have on duty?
We generally have at least 2 most times.
So that's tying up a lot of officer time. So I think either way, whether we fence it or we go in half with it, I think that we can save ourselves some good manpower time not to deal with it by being proactive and putting a fence there.
But what happens next week, we have another property owner
And they
coming here,
keep
wants us
coming
to
in.
split the cost with them.
Oh, I get that point. I said we should still, whether we do it ourselves or
Oh,
with
I
them.
agree with you.
We should do
Either
something.
he fence his or we fence ours. Eliminate this problem. I didn't know that many people use that place, but
Did you see the report? Well, I gave, there was a thumb drive with 3.5 gigabyte of pictures on it. There was a thumb drive that came with the report I made when I turned in to speak. You know, I couldn't list all the pictures, right?
well,
And they can't send us all of
No,
them
no,
all.
all I'm saying is I have a thumb drive that it's unbelievable.
I think that the issue, if I may, is our definition of blocking it off may be different than what his definition of a fence may be. You know, if we go put some pilings down basically on the ground like we normally do to keep people from driving across, but if he actually wants to construct a fence of some kind of, you know, fancy, kind of like the neighbor, the other side. So that's gonna be the difference there, if we go block it or actually build a $500 fence, you know.
Exactly.
Well, cheapest way to put in there, if that's laying old telephone poles that
Right.
get donated by Duke Energy down the side of it, and if the guys can drill a hole in it and drive a piece of rebar in it,
Rebar,
so
right.
it don't move like a bump stop or something, you know what I mean? Me
Now-
and him and discussed, 10 4x4 poles with a piece of cable in it. You done it at, as the mayor said, she's done it at another place, separation of property,
In McKissick Beach.
you know, if you will.
Now, to me, the barrier should be the property owner's choice. Whatever barrier you want to put there. If you want
Well-
to put a 9-foot chain
Mr.
link,
Yeah, Mr. Milliner, I fully.
Can I
agree.
finish, please, sir?
Fully understand, but if I had you as a neighbor, and I had Mr.
Walden.
Walden as a neighbor, you know, and Mr. Walden's dog or kids or relatives during Christmas kept running across my property and passing out on it or whatever, I'd build a fence, and he'd probably help me build a fence. But when the city allows, as my report as the report I provided you is, showing that much activity and everything from the cities owning it and allowing it, and they're coming on my property, that's the city's responsibility.
well, that, to me, again, that's where you're wrong, sir. And I don't really want to debate it with you. I'll just explain to you how I feel, and I feel like we're setting a precedent. Because that's not the city's responsibility of some individual going on your property.
It is,
That's,
it
no,
is
sir,
your
that's,
responsibility.
Just one
That's-
second. Please let him finish.
that's the individual's responsibility, and that's their problem for going on your property. That's not the city's. Just because the city owns right-of-way there, that doesn't give anyone authorization to go on your property. So that's not our responsibility.
But we-
That's that individual's. And if that individual goes on your property and you have it properly posted
I do.
or properly barriered, then they're trespassing. And then that's a law issue. But again, I'm not, I really don't want to fuss with you and I don't want to be negative, but I strongly feel that we are in the wrong by participating with any private individual and helping them financially put up a barrier on their property to keep other individuals off.
Understood.
Thank you.
I'm not asking you to put the barrier on my property. I'm asking the city to put the barrier on their property like you would fence whatever you need to fence that is city owned. You know, the point, I'm not gonna go there, but, you know, the Milliners owned that property for 20-plus years, and they allowed everybody to come on that property before I took possession of it. And when I talked to Tristan and Skipper, the game wardens and stuff like that, about what can I do and/or other state officials and stuff like that, so I got notes here, I can go on for hours, but, you know, when I talked to the state, EPA, Northwest Water, Northwest EPA, Tristan, Lieutenant Cook, Skipper, and all of them, because not only the burning the time of Robbie, like he has pointed out, 8 hours, I've got all the game wardens burning their time and wasting the sheriff's department's time, because Robbie can't tell a boat to get off my dock when they tie up to my dock. Okay, so they launch a boat and tie it and leave it overnight over the weekend, which I get pictures of Georgia boats, Alabama boats, Florida boats tying up to my dock. Okay, and now we're wasting all the time of the other law enforcement departments. But back to one case in point is, which the attorney can look at or whatever, but Title 26, 336.09. The commissioners do, or the city of Carrabelle does have, in my interpretation of what the state law is here, is that the commissioners with respect to property under their control may in their own discretion and at their own motion or upon the request of an agency, state, and or federal government, or upon petition of any person or persons, are hereby authorized and empowered to vacate, abandon, discontinue, and close any existing public or private alleyway, road, highway, or any place used for travel, or any portion thereof other than a state, federal highway. Renounce or disclaim any right of the county and the public in which any land or interest in thereof acquire the purchase or gift of street, alleyway, road, or purpose of lands. 2 more, renounce and disclaim any right of county or public and the public in and to land. The commissioners, upon such a motion, request, or petition, may adopt a resolution declaring that a definitive time and place of public hearing that will be held consider advisability and exercising the authority granted in this section. So you have the right to close it down. You have, I mean, you can shut the whole thing down. You put a gate right across the front of it.
But we're not interested in shutting, just 1 second, 1 second.
It says the boat ramp.
1 second, sir. We have these same type of right-of-ways all along the waterfront, all the way down 30A Gulf Avenue. They're all over the county, and we are not, I can't speak for everyone, but as far as I'm concerned, we are not interested in shutting down a right-of-way and public access to our water. That's our main resource here, is our fabulous water system and rivers and the Gulf. And I mean, I considered the fence because that's something similar that was done at McKissick Beach. But I mean, if I had pain in the butt neighbors, I wouldn't make them pay for the fence. I would be saving up to get a fence to make myself happy because it's my problem.
If I might.
But we do have a motion and a second.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
So let's clear that up before we proceed and we can continue this discussion. But at this point, we do have a motion by Commissioner Gray, seconded by Commissioner Pedrick, to instruct Ms. Courtney to get with Mr. McGuire regarding splitting the cost of a post and cable fence. So I would ask all of those in favor. All of those opposed? And that motion does not carry. Okay. And I
So-
understand you had an issue with the neighbor on your other side as well.
Yep, right here.
I'm not sure if that's something that we have any control over. It seems like you might need a fence on both sides. I mean,
I,
I agree 100%. So he can drive his commercial trucks or have deliveries in 18-wheeler, which was another thing about driving in residential area. But he couldn't fit it in his property, so he takes, actually undoes my rope on the entrance to my property, backs his truck down, unloads 2 40-foot I-beams in my yard, and then takes an excavator and comes across from the other side and drags them into his yard.
seems to me he should be paying for property damage and arrested
I
for
have no pictures to
trespassing.
prove it. All I have is a verbal conversation.
That's a
with the
law
man
enforcement
with the man that said
Right.
he did it.
Yeah.
There's Grossman there for him.
Is there any code issues with that, Keisha?
No, not from the city's standpoint. He opened a code enforcement complaint and we closed it. It's,
Case 25, where I said he was building the driveway
Yes.
without a, permit.
he's within his rights to build his own driveway.
Right.
The other stuff he's complaining about is happening on the water, which is FWC and DEP, and I've asked
Right.
him to follow up with them, the city. As far as the city's code, that case is closed. There's,
Thank you, ma'am.
thank you.
So, an update from the Northwest EPA, I think is how you say it. The office over there, Mr. Ryan, the guy that handles all this stuff, and they signed the lady to go out and inspect everything or whatever, and they have contacted the landowner and told him he was damaging the seagrass and to remove his barge off the land, I guess, off the edge of the water. So since then, the one motorized barge is left, don't know where it went, but the other barge with the big gate that they load equipment on with has been pulled back and tied on to the dock, and they have pictures of all the damaged seagrass, and as of right now, that was the perspective for, how do you say, the fix, yes.
Seems like the,
Unless he tries to go back and start putting the ramp down again and loading more equipment to go do other jobs, then it's gonna be a problem.
seems like the proper agency's handling what they need to handle with it.
Yeah, on that aspect.
Is there any other issues that pertains to the city of Carrabelle?
Yes, the seagrass, because you have defined it as a, excuse me, sir, right away?
Yep, that's
Right away.
city right away, yep.
Okay, city right away.
To the high water mark.
Yeah, so it's a city right away to the high water mark, and so that makes it not a boat ramp. And by that not making it a boat ramp, what the city's made clear, it's not a boat ramp. Now you're in violation of the EPA seagrass damage that's growing there. So I'll work with the state, to submit the paperwork to you guys to close it, because we're all, you gotta look at it, I just got a permit to rebuild that dock. So I paid 140 grand for the land. I'm paying, Thorn Wheeler, 50, 60 grand to put it in with 2 new boat lifts and make it all, so I got all the permits. And the permit was this, 2 pages. But the 9 other pages in the permit from the EPA was if I mess the grass up, the turtles, the whales, you know what I'm saying? So the city has, even according to the Wildlife and Fisheries, which is Lieutenant Cook, Tristan, I can't remember all of them's name, Wildlife and Fisheries Department and the county of Franklin County, you have no permits issued to make a boat ramp. And according to FWC in the state, that you can't have that boat ramp there because you can't provide parking. Okay?
It's an
There's
in,
not enough land space there to provide parking for a boat ramp.
We have not defined it as a boat ramp.
Right, but you're using it as one, it's still the same thing as he said, she said, or what we got to do, so. I can't tear the seagrass up because, my permit states I can't do any of that, and I'm limited on how to drive a pile and do anything I wanna do there. but it's okay for you, because it's the end of the street, just happen to run off in the water, you're allowing the seagrass, you know, to be turned up with environmentalists and everybody else, but I gotta stand with the law, but you don't.
Are we authorizing anybody to use that as a boat ramp?
We have not.
File your paperwork, and, I mean, that should be the end of the discussion. You told us what you're gonna do.
No. I'm not trying to shut it down, I'm just trying to get.
I mean, you made it clear because you didn't hear what you wanted to hear from us, what you was going to do. So, and we listened,
Continue further
and I appreciate it.
with my investigations, that's all I can do.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Okay, item number 4. Discussion and,
We got a question.
oh, okay.
Is it on this
Used to
subject?
be up here since my family owned it for 30 years. So, you know, it's land that Uncle Jesse had,
Please
right?
introduce yourself.
I'm Charlie Thompson. And that's the land Uncle Jesse got, put his boat on, right? I'm thinking the right one? Well, when they put up there, no trespassing signs, I don't know if he did it, or who did it, but they even took, put it on the tree where the right-of-way's at, where you couldn't go down there. 'Cause I used to walk down with my dog. The land ain't very big that he owns, and neither is the right-of-way. But we need to know a clear path where his land's at, for sure, because I don't want to go down there and get caught trespassing. You know, before it's all my family's land, so I was able to walk all I want to. But I just want to put my 2 cents since he's kind of invited me up here.
You make a fair point. Is there any way possible that we can just take some pilings and mark the corners, just so people has a clear definition of where the corners are? And it shouldn't cost us anything if we have old pilings laying around. Just mark our corners.
I kind of looked for the markers up in the park toward the road, and I couldn't find none.
Right.
You know, so I don't know where I'm at when I walk down there.
That's
So I stayed in the
understandable.
middle.
I think that's a valid point. I visited the site today. I have several things I could say, but I'm not going to. But I have to agree with him on the posted sign. I'm not sure where it's at. It does look like it's in the right-of-way. I don't know if it is or not.
Well, one of them was for sure. I don't know if it's still there.
When I say right-of-way now, I'm talking about the city-owned
That's what I'm
right-of-way.
talking about too.
I'm not sure, and it would be good to identify that, that's for sure.
I'll check the records and see if we have a survey. If not, I will order a survey so we have a clear survey of our property.
That would help me. I know some people that lives there on the river uses that lives actually lives in that area.
Miss
on the river.
Roddenberry, from what the police chief said she walks around down there
Yes,
as
she
well.
does.
So.
And there's a guy that lives down there on the river that he goes down there a lot too. But ain't none of them wants to break the law.
Right.
Everybody wants to know where they're legal to go. And they don't run in somebody that just owns the land, they don't live there. I mean, and these people do live there. So
Right.
that's all I got to say. He just invited me up.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mr.
Charlie.
Charlie. Is there any other discussion or questions regarding item number 3? You guys ready to move on?
Yes.
Okay. Item number 4, discussion and possible action concerning the alleyway between the properties of 1002 and 1012 Northwest Avenue C, and this was requested by Joel and Renee Gill, if you wouldn't mind coming up.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Before you start, do you want us to read the letter again or just summarize?
Maybe summarize.
Okay, there's an alleyway between 1002 and 1012 that belongs to the city of Carrabelle. The residents of 1012 have built an accessory structure in the alleyway. It bumps right up to our property line, and it's a chicken coop and a garden. And from our understanding, because it's this access structure, it's supposed to be 5 feet off, or 7 feet on the sides from their property line. So not only, it's 15 feet over in the alleyway, and they also are not following Carrabelle's codes for setbacks.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hartman, I know Courtney spoke to you about this. What is the definition for the accessory unit? Because when I heard chicken coop, I picture it like a doghouse. I'm pretty sure you could put a doghouse right up to the end of your property. So that's what I think the real brass and tacks of this is. Is the chicken coop considered an accessory unit or a structure is what it was?
So unless it's over 100 square feet, that's how we usually determine if you need a permit and whether it's considered an accessory structure, shed, that sort of thing. So if you have one of those little Rubbermaid things and you just put it right up against your fence, we don't permit that, we've allowed that. This looks like it has 4x4s in the ground, it's got a metal roof, but it's more of like a mini pole barn, is what it looks like to me, with screen. And I've discussed with Keisha, I've discussed with Courtney, and I've also discussed with Commissioner Pedrick, who's been out there. So the commission can provide the direction and take the input from kind of everybody, the complainants as well as staff. It is a violation. They're in the alley. I mean, they built this 15-foot wide alley, it appears, and it's 12 feet in the alley. I mean, so it's firmly in the alley. Now, call it mitigating factor is it wasn't, as some are, where people know they're building something in the alley and they go and build it. My understanding is that they had gotten a survey showed, and there are some blocks further west that don't have the alley, they thought they were building it on their property. But that doesn't change the fact that they didn't build it on their property, and it is squarely in the alley. So there's really three, and this is from talking to, and I agree, like talking to staff about this and Commissioner Pedrick, there's three options kind of for discussion, which is everything from abandoning the alley to code enforcing it and where they need to move it onto their property, or authorize what they call an encroachment agreement, which we have done for people before, where typically their home, they built some structure that, again, accidentally is on city property, and we do an encroachment agreement that says, hey, it can stay for now. It's essentially grandfathered, but if it deteriorates or you can't expand it, you can't improve it, you can't do anything to it, and when it deteriorates, you got to haul it off. So far, those are the three options that have come up, and I won't talk it to death, but the abandonment idea, we have had a policy for as long as I've been here, which is getting longer and longer now, which I appreciate. But it's not good public policy to just abandon city property to people, especially under this type of circumstance. This would only encourage people to think, oh, I can build something in the alley and then it'll become mine type thing. Because that's how it would work. All the adjacent property owners would own out to the center line of whatever is abandoned. So it wouldn't, not that it would be our problem anymore, but it wouldn't solve this problem either. Because
Right.
this would be on their property but then it would be private. Keisha can talk about the code enforcement kind of side of it, and then you've got the encroachment agreement possibility.
So I just have one quick question, maybe two.
Oh, yeah.
Just say the alley was abandoned, and I know you said it goes to the middle, so you're saying they're even over that?
Yeah.
They-
So it would be, if it's 15 foot wide,
They
We
are,
each get 7.5.
they
hold
would
on
each get
just-
7.5 feet.
And they are over.
I would, and this is off just looking at it, and Commissioner Pedrick, actually, he's been out there, maybe even pulled a tape, so he even has a better feel. But yes, I would say they are more than 7.5 feet. The chicken coop is more than 7.5 feet into that alley.
that chicken coop sets 15 feet across the whole alley when you look down the property line and the string line that's ran down it. It butts up against it. So setbacks wasn't even used whenever it was put there, even when they thought, due to no mistake of their own, that it was their property. The setbacks wasn't followed then. So it is slam across the alley.
Okay.
There is 10 feet of room between their porch and that chicken coop right now.
And it's, the chicken coop's
And
right on their
yeah,
property
and
line?
it's not only the chicken coop. Yeah, the chicken coop's right on that property line.
Gotcha.
And it's not only the chicken coop, it's the enclosed trailer, it's the constantly parking the vehicles in there. So basically, from that chicken coop to the road is being used as a personal driveway and a storage driveway. And then when you get on the other side of the chicken coop, if you look at the pictures, there's, plant boxes and all pulled out there. So yes, it was a mistake. Yes, Roddenberry came and fixed their mistake. They moved the fence to the new property line, the front part of the fence. But they left everything from the chicken coop and the trailer and parking there.
Gotcha. Now, my other question is, would this be considered a structure? Obviously, they're over the line, but say they move it, is this considered a structure that requires setbacks?
It appears to be bigger than a 10 by 10.
It does.
Yeah. Let's let Dan handle this one.
And really, I mean, Keisha does a lot of the permitting on these. Is that something you would permit? It's,
No, not a chicken coop. We don't permit chicken coops. If it was a full-size pole barn where people could store stuff,
Park under
park
it.
under it. But as far as a chicken coop, it's not considered something, it's
So-
not considered a habitable space, basically.
So if I chose to, I could build a chicken coop on the other end of the alleyway?
no, again, what we're talking about here is, I think the question is, could they put that up against the edge of their property?
Right.
Without
Yes.
the setback,
Exactly.
right?
Right,
But we're
yes.
not talking about building, no one can be building, you
Nobody.
shouldn't be building in the alley, so.
Right.
But, yeah, so should they move it? If they
Into
do they
their
need to move it
property.
15 feet, or they need to move it 22 feet? And I guess what we're hearing is 15
But
feet.
yes, it would not, just like a fence, a fence is not considered a structure.
Exactly.
So it can go right on your property line. Anything that's considered a habitable or accessory structure, which would be your garage, your shed, something to that nature.
That is an accessory structure. It's very large. I don't know if you've been out there and looked at it, but it's built with poles and concrete. It's a structure.
It's 10 feet, may I speak, please? It's 10 feet by 18 feet, 16 to 18 feet. It has been added on since we started building our house in May 27th, June. And we have photographs of it being built in different stages. So it has been, after the fence was removed, which we had no knowledge of. We were back in Georgia and we come here on Memorial Day weekend. But anyway, that weekend, they were pulling the lumber out. We didn't know what was going on. We went back to Georgia for a week. I come back, there's a fence there. What's going on? I said, well, we're gonna put a fence up at some point, but the violation of where the other items was our concern. But it has been built on since that survey issue was corrected and the fence was taken down. As of this weekend, there were 4 more boards added to it.
Thank you.
So,
Mr. Millender, did you have questions for them?
Well, he's answering part of it. I was gonna ask what the age of the chicken coop structure is, if it needed to be grandfathered, but now he's describing that there's new additions to it recently.
You're talking about additions on the fence or the chicken coop? You're saying they built on the chicken coop?
Built onto the, like,
extended it down towards the back end of the property.
Mayor, may I?
It's 112 feet from the front line to the back. I'm 45, 50 feet in the center right there is the telephone pole for utilities. The chicken house is right there, goes 10 feet by 10. They've added on the other 6 or 8 feet since our putting the foundation in our house.
Okay. Mr. Frederick?
I just want to know if I can ask Ms. Jordan and Mr. Ethan a question, if they'll come up.
want us to?
Sure, give us just a second.
Can I ask you to please move it 15 feet to your property? And that would solve all of this. And I know it's a pain, and I understand that it wasn't your fault, that it was surveyed wrong. But, and, you know, the end of the day, it's in the alley, it's 10 feet from their house, and it would solve a whole lot of headache if I can ask you nicely to please move the fence. I mean, please move the coop.
And then it would legally be in your property, because right now, it is not.
When we bought the property, that was,
Yes.
we was told that was ours.
So,
And that's an issue you would take up with your realtor.
or
So
Roddenberry.
then I had to call Mr. Roddenberry. He had to come back out.
Yeah.
So what about clearing the alleyway all the way out? Like all the way through? Why would it not have to be moved all the way through?
So-
And honestly, this is not a you guys problem, this is a law enforcement problem. I'm having to put up higher on the garden that was already there because my stuff has been sprayed with poison. And I'm going to the law about all this tomorrow.
But we'll not
I
go.
will move the coop.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Vance.
I appreciate
And I
it.
put my dog pen on that side of my yard. It's just a chain link doggy kennel fence.
That court needs to, I mean, Keisha is the lady for that.
As long as it's on the property, a dog house, if it's, think of habitable. So if it's your garage, if it's your shed, if it's something
Human
for
habitable.
human, if it's a dog house, if it's a chicken coop, that is not an accessory structure. That is, that's just something, you're limited to 2 accessory structures on your property. If we limited it, nobody would have a dog house.
Right.
So that's not, think of habitable, something that is an accessory to your home.
Exactly.
The one thing I would say about that, Ms. Jordan, is there is a noise ordinance in the city. And, as long as the dog don't cause a disturbance where Mr. Robbie and his guys are having to come out there and everything, that's the only thing I would caution you about.
Okay, so what about clearing that alleyway all the way out? All the
Well,
way through?
we have many roadways, and Keisha can correct me if I'm wrong, we have many roadways and alleys that is not cut all the way through the city. That particular alleyway has too many beautiful oak trees in it personally for us to cut it.
Yeah, I cut ours down on our side. We paid Trent Wheeler to cut them down because Miss Gale and Mr. Howard was also under the impression that we bought up to that fence, up to almost their blue building. Y'all remember where the blue building was there? Like,
And
so for 3.5 years we've lived there and we've been under the impression that was ours because even Roddenberry ran our stuff up to where those caps are still on the other side of that alleyway.
and
Trust me,
That-
we all feel really
I had to-
bad for you.
Roddenberry
And I
had-
hate that
And my
happened.
house is for sale.
yeah, Roddenberry did the same thing to me on a piece of property before, and I called him and got him to fix it. He is human, mistakes are made, and I'm sorry that he made this mistake on y'all, but it's really on him. We're just trying to keep the peace.
Can I get it abandoned? Is there any way I can file to have it abandoned? Can I bring that to y'all at a different time?
You
My house is
certainly
for sale.
can. We could discuss it. But
But when's the last time we abandoned an alley?
Not since I've been on here.
Not since
No,
a
the
long time.
only.
We did
yeah,
not too long
We
ago.
have not, the only alleys that we've abandoned have been, I think we did one on Dollar General when they owned the entire block and they were rearranging a site plan, something like that. So they own the whole thing.
That's correct.
And we abandoned the internal alley, so it would have never been used for a cut-through type thing. And I understand where she says, hey, when is it gonna be opened? And just as you said, there's a lot of streets and alleys that haven't been opened, but someday, right? Someday, we're talking, it could be 100 years from now that they get opened. I mean, the plat was laid down.
I
and-
got 100 years to move my chicken coop.
No,
Just asking, you said-
no,
you
I
said
understand,
100.
I understand.
You said up to 100
I do,
years.
yeah. It's a
Can
pain.
I
We
just
legally
ask one more
bought
question?
that. Yeah, man made a mistake on it, but we legally bought it almost 4 years ago, 3 years ago.
But can we
And now
agree
it's
to
just
like
a big
split
deal,
it?
But just like you said, there's a bunch of alleyways that ain't cleared when I gotta clear mine.
When you got a complaint like we got, and then we have to do our, like, now, once it's a written complaint, then code enforcement's kicked in, because it's a complaint driven, and that chicken coop is square in the alley. I understand you didn't think it
It
was,
wasn't alley when we bought our
but
house.
it's been an alley since 1893. That's the problem. I mean, it's city property, and.
Can we try to agree to split this alley 7 foot?
we
Have
can't
y'all
give you the
seen-
permission to do that because that is city property. And right now, it doesn't seem like we are in the position to want to just abandon and basically give away that city property. Like they're saying, there's alleys all over the city. And if we just give it to you guys,
No, I get that.
Yeah.
Like, so we couldn't, like, as neighbors, agree to stop bickering and just share the 15 foot?
you would be moving your chicken coop either way.
Totally fine.
So
But that's so close to my house.
legally, we cannot set up here and tell you, yes, you can share the alley because the city owns it and we can't do that.
Yeah.
So we can't say you can do that.
Okay.
So,
But, and again, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, because I mean, on the chicken coop, just we're saying, okay, if you move the chicken coop and then it becomes, will you guys use it? You use the alley for vehicles and trailers and stuff like that.
It's my truck that parks there because that's the side of the house I access.
So you absolutely could work with your neighbor, just like you could if you lived on a street together and said, hey, I'm gonna be parking on this side of here, and, you know, can you still get by? Do you need to get by? All that, everybody should work with each other.
You utilize that 7 foot, I utilize this foot.
You absolutely can use it, just like, no, you could use it, someone, and literally any member of the public could use it, right? It's a public right-of-way, just like the last man that was here talking about it is, obviously, it's sort of a dead end because you run into trees once you
And
go up.
sheds
certain-
and a
yeah,
house
You
and-
run into stuff going once you go up farther, but absolutely, you could, just like, it's like a quiet cul-de-sac street, you should try to get along with your neighbor, then you could work out using it. And I'm not putting that on you, you don't have to do that, but that would be the trick, right? If someone was parking cars in the middle of your street, you'd say, hey, I can't get around you. You know, how am I supposed to leave my house? How am I supposed to use this public right-of-way also? That's what is the problem.
Like legally, your property, like your chicken coop needs to be in your property boundaries. And I know when you bought it, you thought the boundaries were different because of the survey you received. But now that we know, and these are the facts, that that is city property, I mean, we can't give you permission to have your things permanently on the city's right-of-way or alley.
So what if we move our coop? I'm going to, but I still use it to drive in and out because
That's-
I utilize that side of my house. That's the
I
side of the house
believe
use.
that that's fully allowed. It's a
I'm not
right-of-way.
getting ticketed
I
or
can
none of
park
the
in
things.
next to my house.
one thing I would say, and this is, you know, I know he's trying to construct his house right now, and one of the things is they can't access that back corner, the contractors can't. So maybe if you can work with each other and say, if he says, hey, you know, I have a contractor's coming in this day, can I get in the alley? If y'all can work together on that, that would be great. And that's all that we're saying, because I know he wants to be able to access that back corner while they finish building and all that. And as long as y'all can work together with it, then y'all can both park wherever you want.
We get along great with our contractors, we really do. We're really not terrible people and neighbors and all the things.
And I want to say thank you for agreeing to move it.
You're welcome.
And a typical road's 12 feet, so you got 6 feet on each side, so there's no reason why you couldn't park on half and they can still access half. So there's ways to get along, and trust me, it would be my wish too. Because, you know, several of the items on here is basically based on neighbors not getting along. So, you know, so there is.
My house is for sale because of this. Trust me, I'm trying so
Understand.
hard to get out of this. It's a chaos in my neighborhood. So, okay, Mr. Vance, how long do I got to,
How long do you need?
I don't know, I work every day, so does he.
You need 60 days?
Sure, that's,
That fair?
Would you guys be, does that work?
We're scheduled 6 weeks to move in.
We haven't been bickering, that's the
Yeah.
thing. You know what, I have this survey
Oh my gosh.
from 2022 that my aunt and uncle, Howard and Gail, who they mentioned, and it clearly states there's a 15-foot alleyway. They never, Aunt Gail and Uncle Howard never thought that that alleyway would be used for any kind of structure. That is not true. They may have said you can use it to garden or whatever, but yeah,
So-
we're willing to work with anything. But right now, we're blocked from having the air conditioning unit, the bed.
oh, I'm gonna
I
have to
understand.
leave.
Miss-
I'm gonna
Miss
have to-
Jordan,
Give me
so-
just a second.
Please.
Hold on just a second.
Hold on. So,
Hold on just a second, please. Everyone just relax.
I can't. You don't
I get it.
understand how it is living with
I
them.
live 2 blocks from you guys.
You hear us
Just give
yelling
me
at each
just a
other.
second. I understand you work a lot. Can you make this a priority and have the chicken coop moved within 30 days? Is it possible?
We could work with 30 days.
Okay.
We could do 30 days.
The chicken coop will be moved into your, you know where your lot lines are now. Does everyone agree with that? Okay. Do we need a motion for that?
You do
Or
not.
any?
No.
No.
Okay. If you have any issues, something comes up, just please communicate that with Miss Keisha. And I hope after this 30 days, this issue is squashed. And I wish you the best of luck selling your house.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
In good faith, I'm willing to help.
I think they'll be best if
Yeah.
they handle their property and y'all handle y'all's property.
Maybe we.
Yeah. All right. Do we have any other discussion on item number 4? All right, let's move on to old business, item number 1. Discussion and possible action concerning adding boat storage as an allowable use in C1 zoning. We've kind of talked about this a few months ago, here and there. We are a fishing town, but we do not have many options for boat storage in our tiny little fishing town, which is C1 zoning. The majority of our commercial district is C2, which does not allow boat storage. Nor do I personally think it would look great to have boat storage right on our Highway 98 corridor. For my envision of downtown would be something that when someone from out of town's driving through here, they see interesting things and they want to stop and explore the area. And I don't think seeing a bunch of boat storage is really going to do that. But our P&Z met and they have come up with what their advice would be for us to consider the allowable C1 zoning, and it would be under a special exception. Is that right, Ms. Keisha? How exactly does
Yeah,
that work?
so they wanted to add it to the category for C1 as a special exception with special conditions.
Gotcha.
So normally, you have a special exception, you look at the area to see if it's compatible. You would still do that, but then these extra conditions would apply as well.
If you'd like, I can run you through them.
Please.
So 2 things that they really focused on, they spent at least 3 full meetings talking about it, if not more, and I just missed one of them. And the 2 things were geography, of exactly where would we allow this in C1, and think of, again, C1 being generally north of 98, C1, and then on the north side of Marine Street, C1. And then obviously on the west side of the bridge, on the north side of the road, again, north of 98.
Okay.
So, one was geography, to protect the downtown corridor from being just stacked boats. The other was kind of additional conditions peculiar to boat storage. So do the conditions first, because those kind of, certainly these are their suggestions, and certainly the commission has final say on everything, but could add their own as well. So if this gives you any thought, but these aren't controversial. Basically, any sort of safety considerations, just based on the site, the location of it, anything like that. Noise considerations. Again, this is conditions would be considered whether or not to give them a special exception, and then if you give them a special exception, might require them to shut down at a certain time or something else to minimize noise because of where it's located. Because we are, as everybody knows, historically a lot of that's been used as residential. And again, they know they're in commercial, and that's sort of, that's they knew it when they got their special exception to residential themselves. So, but at the same time, we want to keep everybody getting along. So, no chain link fencing. It's got to be privacy fencing approved by the commission. Adequate screening from adjacent properties, which could be vegetative or fencing. Lighting would need to be shielded to avoid light pollution, so usually downward. Cannot interfere with normal traffic flow of the adjacent streets and
alleyways.
In alleyways, and it could be, you may enter on an alley. Accessibility has to be adequate, so turning and this and that. No on-site fuel storage, And they talked about boat storage being covered, and meaning it could be as simple as a pole barn, or it could be a metal building, right? But it has a roof, basically. Does not need to have sides necessarily. So those were the kind of conditions that were talked about. And then the geography was the interesting one. That we spent a lot of time talking about.
Please explain us in detail.
Yes. So there's really, I'm going to call it three, well, no, I won't even do that. Okay. They talked about all C1 along Marine Street allowing boat storage. And the logic there was, well, this is where the boat launch is, this is all that. I've talked to some other people since then, and they say, oh, well, you know, we have our shops and we have other things going on Marine Street. Do we, you know, everybody fears just boats stacked to the, 3 stories along a scenic roadway, right? So that's a consideration of where, if not all of C1 along Marine Street, then how would you deal with it? And this goes to the next one, which is, well, I'll leave this to make it simple. On the east end of the city, from city limits coming into the city, traveling westward, you would have, you would be all C1, which again is all north of 98. It would be allowed until you hit 3rd Street, which is across from the park. So
Okay.
basically, we're talking, from City Hall east, which there's nothing there, but I mean, other than there's some residential, obviously past City Hall, over the hump, till in front of the park. It would allow, I mean, you have some metal buildings there already, and, I know there's some car stores and stuff. So that's all C1 commercial. It will be allowed in those areas. Then, after 3rd Street, all the way to Ryan Drive, it would not be allowed on 98. And this was their kind of idea to protect the visual of the corridor.
Right.
But it would be allowed 200 feet north. So along there, again, it starts up definitely after Tallahassee Street. It's a little chopped up before that, but you would go half a block of C1 north all the way. So if you just drew a line through all those blocks at half of a block, then it would be allowed.
So like Avenue B and the adjacent properties?
Yeah, so Avenue B, there's 1 block north of Avenue B that's commercial. That
Yeah.
would all be allowed.
And then
But then 200 feet
the
south.
half a block
half
south
a block
of it.
south of Avenue B would
Okay.
also be allowed.
That's what I needed explained.
Yeah, yeah. So it was intended to just be able to make sure that
It's
it's
not-
set off of 98. So and then that's 4 blocks, 50-foot blocks, or, width. So it'd be 200 feet up. Yeah, and then,
Is that North Avenue B or Southeast Avenue B?
North.
north,
Northwest.
northwest Avenue
Northwest.
B. Yeah, so and this is, we're talking this is, once you get into that corridor, it's C2 on the south side, C1 on the north, some other things, but C2 generally on the south side. So it's just, C1 is just on the north side, right?
The only C2 that allows for boat storage is along the river from Sea Quarters Marina all the way down to just right Marina, or to our city dock, actually.
Yeah.
So that's the only C2 we have
C1?
anywhere. No, C2.
Sorry, and I know we're mixing things here. C2 on the south side of 98 along the water that allows boat storage.
Gotcha.
That's the only plots that do allow for it.
And that's why we're talking about opening up a little more so people can store their boats
We need more.
closer, in town.
And this is absolutely nothing that's meant to be rushed.
Right.
So that's why we took our time in P&Z, and we stressed that to P&Z. We don't want to, you're going to be changing an ordinance
Yeah.
here. So you really need to make sure that, it's what you want.
And then west of Ryan Drive, as you run out
Which would
west
be
of the
across
city,
the bridge.
across the bridge, any C1 out there, it would be allowed by special exception.
Okay. I am all for the geographic restrictions. Do you guys have any discussion regarding the geographic? I mean, they literally, what I was hoping for is what they got, but
I do, but I also think that it might be a good idea for us to do a workshop on this because it's gonna be a lengthy conversation.
I agree.
I agree.
Yes.
I got some concerns as
I've
well.
got a ton of questions, so maybe that would be best as we
You know,
schedule a
and we didn't have
workshop.
Courtney tonight to put it up on the screen.
Yeah.
So everybody can see the areas we're
Is it-
talking about, because Dan uses east and west. Some people want to say, you know, where the IGA is right here, you know? So.
Agreed.
So that way we can kind of have it pointed out where, you know, everybody's talking about.
You know, there is a lot of residential areas.
A lot.
People live in this area, even though it's commercial.
Mm-hmm.
But if it ever came, you know, like the Steiner's Oyster House, you sent out letters to the neighbors.
You would still do that.
Yeah, and if there's any neighbors that's got a problem with it, no, it's not gonna happen. Something
Right.
like that, yeah.
That would still go through that process. As what P and Z is suggesting. So
Yes.
it's up to you guys. You can say it's allowed, it's not allowed, or a special exception with conditions.
I would like to make a motion to workshop this item.
Okay, when should we do this?
About February.
I second that.
That's the problem.
This month is pretty packed for my schedule.
Let's put it off that.
Now, November, we will be having a final budget, hearing for where we finalize our budget. And that's usually a 5-minute meeting, but you're gonna have to still be here so we could look at that, or you can put it out.
Do we
That's
have-
up to you.
Okay,
Do we have
let's
a date
not
for that?
decide tonight
I do
because
not
we
have a date
don't
for
have
that.
Courtney here.
Right.
But once we figure out when that is, she can just poll us and we'll let her know and get this scheduled because we just got this information just a few days ago. And this is a major decision that we do not want to get wrong. And we definitely want the public's opinion.
So we can set the meeting on the November 6th meeting.
Perfect.
Because that's when I'll have the information for the final budget that we're gonna have to hold.
Yes, ma'am.
Which is basically closing out this last year's budget.
Woo.
So, do we need a motion to do that, or are we good?
We do not
No, we
need a
don't. Okay.
motion to do that.
Well, let's table it.
Don't say I'm.
Okay,
I need
motion to
make a
table?
motion to
I'll
table
make-
this item.
All right, was tabled by Commissioner Millender,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Pedrick. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. And with that, we are adjourned.